Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing the video on Puss in Boots Last Wish, and I'd like to give thanks and dedications to Sonic Infinity, Raymond Kelton, Weed Cat, and Husk the Gamer for requesting this video. Enjoy the video, everyone. First of all, let's talk about your description here. You say that you think this movie is great, which I agree with, but that alone is sinful, which doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to say it again, you should respect other people's opinions and not treat your opinions as facts, because they aren't.
Comcast.
Pointing things out on the screen.
I'll never understand why the sliver of the moon is somehow inside the moon, and if... Wait. Oh, no. Did DreamWorks Animation Marvelize their opening logo? No, DreamWorks! Bad DreamWorks! Drop it! Bad! Bad!
Honestly, I'd say that these new DreamWorks logos are very creative and are a good way to show viewers characters from their past movies. And yeah, I would have removed a sin for these logos. Also, Jeremy yells at the movie cliche.
Also including Boss Baby in your anything, ever.
Pointing things out on the screen, again.
First star I see tonight.
Also peroration.
Sinning narration cliche.
Needing to clarify a swashbuckling talking cat's relationship to reality.
Well, movies in the past have told us about where fantasy movies take place, so this being here makes sense to me.
In order for this to make any sense, this horse here would have had to do a full 360 while standing on his hind legs. And if that happened, you show me that shit!
Well, this is just a gag in an animated comedy movie, so it doesn't need to be explained, and doing that would just slow down the runtime.
This could be said for the majority of the movie, so let's just add a few cents here for Puss in Boots surviving any of this.
Well, despite the fact that Puss loses 8 of his 9 lives in this movie, I'll say again that in these types of movies, the protagonist doesn't die.
Might as well get this off my chest right now. This movie is gorgeous. The almost cel-shaded effect of the environment, the use of different frame rates, the visualizations of the movements. You didn't have to go this hard for PIB dose, but you did. So go ahead and take the sin off before I remember this is the Shrek universe.
I'm fine with the sin removal, but just like in the Shrek 3 video, I'll remind you that not everyone thinks that the Shrek movies are bad in general. In general, most people enjoy them, myself included. Though again, I am aware that not everyone likes Shrek 3, and I respect their opinions.
Watching Puss in Boots fight with a giant made me realize that these few seconds are better than the entirety of the last Hellboy movie.
First of all, sinning something you like. Second of all, you liking this part more than another movie isn't a sin, so I'm going to be giving my award to this sin.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Breaking the fourth wall to ask a rhetorical question.
Except Puss was asking that question to the giant, meaning that wasn't a fourth wall break.
You died.
Duh. He was crushed by a giant bell. He should be reduced to a pancake fur-covered bag of bone dust. Do cats regenerate?
In this world, yes. So let's move on, shall we?
Take it easy, Doctor. Let's see. There was the running of the bulls in Pamplona.
And this will continue to show us all 8 times Puss in Boots has died. Because there's nothing a child likes to see more in their movie than dead cat montages.
Well, this is required for 2 reasons. The first being that the movie needs to let us know that Puss has died 8 times, leading to what he wants to wish for. And the other reason is that it's establishing Puss's arrogance on how he didn't value his previous lives, leading to him learning to value his final life at the end.
Excuse me, does this have shellfish in it?
Yes, sir.
Dying because of your own selfish actions.
Well, like I just said, this is purposefully part of Puss's character arc in this movie, since this is showing how he didn't value his previous lives.
Treat?
Why would your treats all be fish-shaped? You don't only work on cats. And honestly, it's a bit insensitive to your fish clients.
They're probably just treats for cats, and considering the cats eat fish, it makes sense for them to be like that.
Retire. You are too good looking to retire.
Vanity.
Again, part of Puss's character arc in this film, so not a sin.
Everyone thinks they'll be the one to defeat me. But no one's escaped me yet.
But let me guess, Puss in Boots will, not for any logical or earned reasons, but because movies got a movie.
But that's not exactly how it ends between Puss and Death. Puss tries to escape him by wishing for his lives back, but then he learns to value his final life and admits that he knows that he can't defeat death.
The only way it's possible for the moon to be this large is if Roland Emmerich is forcing John Bradley to spout bullshit science to Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson again.
Taking an animated fantasy movie at face value, yet again cliche.
You're gonna have to show me how a cat would make that pea stick, or I refuse to believe it happened.
First of all, if the movie is saying that that's what happened, then it happened. Second of all, like I said before, something like this doesn't need to be explained because that just bogged down the film's runtime.
Scolding a cat for using a human toilet instead of using him to make yourself millions off selling the movie rights to Pickles, the cat who can pee standing up.
Well, as someone who subscribed to Wicked Binge, I'll allow them to explain why this might be the case.
But whether it's her age or a natural sense of obliviousness, Mama Luna isn't the most observant. And while she does notice Puss doing things like cooking on the stove or using the toilet, she fails to realize that he's not an ordinary cat or even wonder why Puss is doing these things.
These ones are just right.
Striking a pose that matches your wanted poster.
Narration.
We can eat and talk at the same time.
Eating and talking at the same time.
See the previous sin.
It's over.
Oh no. Want to rub my belly?
I don't care if he's a textbook comic relief sidekick in an animated movie. I love Perrito, and I'm taking a sin off. But also textbook comic relief sidekick in an animated movie cliche.
So then what was the point of that sin removal?
Does a growing beard on Puss mean that the rest of the cats are shaving every day? I am so very confused about the ramifications of feline facial hair.
No, the beard is supposed to symbolize how bored and depressed Puss has gotten living with Mama Luna since she forces him to act like an ordinary cat.
Can we switch over to following Mama Luna then? Because I'm way more interested in the piano stuffing story than anything I've seen in this movie so far.
Well, unfortunately for you, this movie is centered on Puss, so this is the story that we're going to be told her, and I think I'll give this my award.
Here we go.
Look, I'm sure there are certain things giant, barely flexible, clawed appendages are good for. Playing the piano this well is not one of them.
Well, that doesn't matter here since we, again, are not talking about the real world here, and so I'll give up my award yet again.
Dead? No, he can't be.
Yep, the nose never lies.
That grave would take one of the bears about 3 seconds to dig up. Why wouldn't they check it?
Because who just digs up a grave to make sure someone's dead? I mean, someone being dead is literally what a grave tells you.
Holy shit, those pies are still steaming right out of the oven. How is Horner not melted his plum thumb plum off?
Probably because that wouldn't actually happen.
This movie is being super flippant with its wanted posters. Are all of these characters really wanted by the police? And if so, how terrible is the Storyland police force that they can't catch any of them? They're not even trying to remain hidden.
Well, I'd argue that all these characters are just good at avoiding being captured, not the fact that the police force is terrible. With Puss, Kitty, Goldilocks, and the Bears, they can easily fight to defend themselves, whereas Jack can do that with his magic weapon collection.
Check it out! I'm walking on a magic carpet!
Using a magic carpet as an actual carpet.
Telling us what we can see in the movie here.
'Cause I'm a real boy, no strings attached! Thank you!
2023 really was the year of Pinocchio, huh? If it weren't for Guillermo del Toro, this 5 seconds would have been the best Pinocchio movie of the year.
You were saying?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Cool reveal, but what's the scenario in which she's been in there this whole time?
Again, doesn't need to be explained, because then we wouldn't be surprised.
The best thief has won.
Premature celebration.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Being this careless with your priceless collection, and everyone knows you never take a collectible out of the box. Starting to doubt his seriousness as a collector.
Well, that shouldn't matter since not only is it a magic bottomless bag, but Jack also takes things out of the bag later and they're unharmed.
I'll get you, my kitties, and your little dog too.
Not subtitling your movie The Wizard of Paws.
Which is ironic to hear coming from the guy who sends movies for pop culture references all the time despite sending movies for using them.
Wait a second. So poofy!
Ah, f you, movie. There's no way you're getting that kind of volume without a hairdryer. This idea of a map that transforms the path based on the user is clever and stunningly executed. Am I taking another sin off? Is it possible a movie from the Shrek universe is actually f***ing good?
Just like with Captain Vader, I'm fine with the sin removal, but again, there are lots of people out there who like the Shrek movies in general.
Swamp of infinite sorrows?
Artax!
Just like in the Kubo video, I don't understand what the point of that is, and because that's not a sin, I'm going to be giving it my award as well.
You know, I think all you have to do is stop and smell the roses.
But how did Perrito know this flower would lift him up to where Puss and Kitty are? First one he sniffed just let him pass by.
Questioning something that the movie doesn't need to explain, again.
Why are you so ridiculous, dog? What's your story?
Is Perrito's story that he's a discount Olaf? I mean, if he started singing about how much he loves summer, I would not be surprised.
No, because Olaf was never abandoned like what happened to Perrito. Also, you capitalize summer in the middle of your sentence here.
I judge you. I sit on your shoulder and judge your actions and the quality of your character. I'm your conscience.
Jiminy Stewart's showing up here is hilarious, but why does he have 2 pant legs instead of 4? Still, this scene is now the 3rd best Pinocchio movie of the year. Congrats!
Did you forget what you said in this scene? You said that without Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, this would have been the best 2022, not 2023 Pinocchio movie, but here you're suggesting otherwise. So which is it, Jer?
Why does this work but the chopping didn't? I need to know why the magical regenerating flowers can only magically regenerate in specific ways.
Well, I think the best answer that I can give to this question is that a fantasy world like this is allowed to have its own rules, so...
Take it from me. Never trust anyone.
Wait, that's amazing!
And also impossible. Pulling foam out of non-foamy water and then using a dagger as scissors to cut the beard off an animal that shouldn't grow a beard.
Giving the movie a sin by just saying what we can see in the movie.
Give us the map, or else the
The Baker Man gets it.
How convenient that everyone arrived here within a few seconds of each other. But how did Goldilocks, Pops, and two other barrels even get through the flowers?
Again, doesn't need to be explained, and like the Birdman said, if the films try to explain what comes to your mind, they just get bogged down.
Sure, human bridges, hilarious, whatever, but how do they work? How is the guy at the foot end even keeping his feet on the ledge? There's nothing for him to hook his feet around, and he's holding several hundred pounds of weight.
See the previous sin.
You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster.
Indeed, which is funny, sure, but also kind of steals the ability of the movie to have any kind of nuance about its central villain. Am I sinning a children's movie for not having nuance?
First of all, sinning this scene. Second of all, I'd argue that there is nuance in this film since the other characters who are portrayed as antagonists redeem themselves later.
No, just a placeholder name, you know? I'll workshop it, okay?
This is a movie where cats fight with swords, bears raise a human girl, and the villain has a cricket on his shoulder. But Perrito knowing what workshopping means is where I'm drawing the line.
Which is ironic to hear you say since you have drawn the line at so many unrealistic things, but don't suspend your disbelief.
This ridiculousness.
Pointing things out on the screen.
I'm getting a family. That's what, a proper family.
What, are you trying to give this character nuance? Just let her be an irredeemable villain.
Except that role belongs to Jack, and Goldilocks is written to be a flawed character who's unsure about her place with the bears since she's not a bear.
What is that?
Goldie and the bears are still there? Why aren't they still trying to get the map away from Puss? And if you say they had a change of heart, so help me, I will hug you, but not a fun hug.
This is because Goldilocks has realized that the bears have been her real family all along. This was established by the earlier scene where she gave up on wishing for a real family to save Baby from being killed by the Star Wall.
Also, the lesson here appears to be if you have the chance to save your life that involves no fighting, throw that possibility out the window and go ahead and have an unnecessary fight.
No, the lesson this movie tells us is that at some point death will come for us, and since that's something we can't escape, we have to accept that. I mean, death's everyone thinks they'll be the one to defeat me, but no one's escaped me yet quote means that everyone dies someday.
Pick it up. I know I can never defeat you, Lobo.
Maybe so, but you would have a much better shot at defeating him if you didn't give him back his weapon every time it gets taken away from him.
Except death is the physical embodiment of death itself, so he can't be defeated regardless, my dude.
But also, this works. I'm not kidding. Wolf leaves after this.
And this is because Death has realized that Puss has lost his arrogance and learned to value his last life, which is why Death spares Puss here. Remember, the reason why Death was after Puss in the first place was because Puss had recklessly wasted and not valued his previous lives.
What have you done?
I'm confused too, Giant Jack Horner. Puss still had time to make his wish. Why is no one shouting out a wish?
Puss isn't wishing for his lives back because he learned to value and fight for his final life. Kitty isn't wishing for someone she can trust because she realized that that someone was Puss himself. Goldilocks isn't wishing for a real family because, like I said earlier, she realized that the bears were her true family. Perrito isn't making a wish because he doesn't have one. And lastly, while Jack was about to make his wish, Perrito distracted him so that the others could stop him from getting all the magic in the world. And surely the best way to know all that is to simply watch the movie, Jer.
Where are we headed anyways?
Off to find new adventures and to see some old friends.
Using Shrek as sequel bait when I prefer on keeping him far, far away.
Well, sorry it's not going the way you want, man. And here's the end result, everybody. The sin total was 203, and the sentence will be chased by death. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.